Gold prices in the world market have begun to rise. According to Reuters, gold prices hit 2-month highs yesterday.
Reuters reports that the weakening of the US dollar and the increase in global demand have prompted the increase in price of precious metals including gold and silver. Yesterday, the price of an ounce of spot gold rose 0.3% to $1,379.52. Reuters also say that the price of silver has risen by 14%. Analysts forecast that the price of an ounce of gold could surpass $1,400 in the next few weeks. Over the past year, the price of gold dropped by 15%.
Now moving on to international news. A court in Pakistan has formally indicted former military dictator Pervez Musharraf with the murder of former opposition leader and Premier Benazir Bhutto, who was assassinated in 2007. Now the News First International Desk has been closely monitoring the situation. For more details, we now have Saskia Valendar from the News First International Desk.
Prosecutors said Pervez Musharraf is charged with murder, criminal conspiracy and facilitation of murder. According to one of his defense lawyers, he denies all charges against him and hasn't made any public remarks during his appearance.
The hearing took place in the city of Rawalpindi, where hundreds of police were deployed along the main road leading to the court as well as on rooftops as Musharraf's car arrived. Journalists were not allowed in the courtroom for the hearing, which lasted just about 20 minutes. The indictment of the army chief who seized power in the 1999 coup, once Pakistan's most powerful man, is an unprecedented event in a nuclear-armed country ruled by the military for half its 66-year history. Bhutto was killed in a gun and suicide bomb attack after an election rally. The government at the time blamed Pakistani Taliban militants. The former military ruler returned to Pakistan this year from self-imposed exile in the hope that he could lead his party into elections, but was disqualified from standing and is currently under house arrest, fighting a series of charges relating to his power time. The next date for hearing of evidence is August 27th.
Now moving on to the turmoil in Egypt. Egyptian officials say the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, General Guide Mohammed Badi, has been arrested. He was detained at a residential flat in the capital, Cairo.
Mohammed Badi had been on the run from the military-backed interim authorities since last June. He is facing charges of inciting violence and murder over the killing of 8 anti-Brotherhood protesters. As the continued crackdown upon the Islamists ensues, Egypt's judiciary granted bond to the ousted president, Hosni Mubarak. His release is perhaps days away. There are heightening suspicions that Mubarak's military are making an insidious return to power. In the meantime, Mohamed Morsi had his detention extended a further 15 days. Correspondents in Cairo have noted that Mohammed Badi's arrest is incredibly significant, given that arresting a spiritual leader had always been seen as a red line not to be crossed. A majority of the Muslim Brotherhood now seem either to be under arrest or killed in the recent protests. Badi's son is among the dead, shot during Friday's protests. Media institutions perceived as anti-military are also facing a crackdown, with many being shut down or their journalists being subjected to intimidation and even facing death threats. Developments over the weekend and yesterday have raised suspicions that Egypt will also fall into the category of failed revolutions of the Arab Spring, along with Syria. Alexander Holmes, News First.
Good evening, Alexander.
Good evening.
Oh, well, Alexander, how are you doing this evening, actually?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right. Now, since you've been following the situation in Egypt over the couple of days, I'm going to ask you a question. What effect will the arrest of Mohammed Badi have upon the Muslim Brotherhood?
Well, Mohammed Badi was definitely considered a radical conservative. If we take a look at some of his inflammatory comments over the years, in 2010, when he was elected, in reference to the United States and Israel, he said waging jihad against both of these infidels is a commandment from Allah that cannot be disregarded. And just last month in July at the Rabaa Al Adwa sit-in, he said overthrowing Morsi was more criminal than carrying an axe and demolishing the Kaaba in Mecca. So clearly today's very public arrest on television, with the government asserting victory, is almost, they're trying to humiliate the Muslim Brotherhood before any sort of political negotiations can go ahead. He will be temporarily replaced by his deputy Mahmoud Azat, but if we take a look at his previous deputy, Karat al-Shatar, who was arrested on July 5th, he was very interesting because he had many business interests and so was widely viewed as the major Muslim Brotherhood financial backer and really a strategist. He was a key player in getting the Muslim Brotherhood to form one party and also was nominated by the Muslim Brotherhood primary presidential candidate before he was disqualified. So with his arrest and his assets frozen, as well as Badi's assets frozen, General al-Sisi really has gone after the Muslim Brotherhood's financial backing and brain.
Well, thank you very much, Alexander Holmes, for joining us on our main desk. Online some sports news. Himali Madhushika, representing Sri Lanka at the second Asian Youth Championships, has won the bronze medal in the girls 400 meters event. Now she clocked a time of 55 seconds, 0.96 in Nanjing, China today. Now incidentally, this is her personal best in the event.
And in some tennis news, the quarter-final matches of the men's and women's singles events of the 98th National Tennis Championships were held today.
Matches of the National Tennis Championships were held at the Tennis Association courts in Colombo. In the first quarterfinals of the men's singles event, Pakistani player Hira Ashik beat M.A. Shakir, who pulled out halfway through the match due to injury. Dinesh Kantan Thangaraja beat Nishangan Nadaraja 6-1, 6-2, 6-7, 6-3 in the second quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Sanka Tukorla advanced to the semifinals of the tournament, defeating Tanvir Ashik, while Amresh Javikrama clinched the last semifinal spot by beating Yasita De Silva. Meanwhile, in the women's singles, Roshenka Fernando beat Hasindul Lokuge to advance to the semifinals. Also, Theoni Devaraja defeated Kemali Herat in a quarterfinals encounter. Meanwhile, Kavinda De Silva beat Madira Samarasinghe and Amrita Muttaya beat Melissa Javadana to book their spot in the semifinals.
Well, now moving on to some cricket news. New Zealand batsman Jesse Ryder described himself as devastated after being banned for 6 months for an anti-doping violation.
Jesse Ryder tested positive for 2 banned stimulants in March and was handed a provincial suspension on the 19th of April. His hearing eventually took place on the 9th of August, but he is eligible to resume his career on the 19th of October. 29-year-old Jesse Ryder said, quote, "I have never taken drugs and to be in this situation distresses me greatly," unquote. He could have been banned for 2 years for the offence, but the Sports Tribunal of New Zealand accepted Ryder had not intended to cheat. The Wellington player ingested the banned stimulants when taking the dietary supplement Gaspari Detonate to battle weight problems. Problems with alcohol and poor discipline have limited Ryder to 18 tests and 39 ODIs since he made his debut in 2008. Earlier this year, Ryder was left in a medically induced coma after being attacked as he left a Christchurch bar. Ryder has not played since that assault, while he has not represented New Zealand for 18 months.
Bat came and the powerful strike from Jesse Ryder.
Now, the Statue of Liberty provided a dramatic backdrop for Colombian diver Orlando Duke, who plunged from a helicopter into the New York harbor to promote the upcoming U.S. stop of the Cliff Diving World Series.
That's right, Duke dove 57 feet into the harbor near the Statue of Liberty. We leave you tonight with those visuals. For the News First Desk, I'm Nicola D'Zoiza.
And I'm Shahan Jurangpati. Good night.
First at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.